knows my bow tie straight because I know the pictures are going on Facebook and I'll hear about it when I get home from my congregation if I look ridiculous. I had a professor in seminary who once told us that if you start off a sermon with a joke, that you're cheapening the sermon, that you're pandering. It was an easy laugh, and luckily for you, this isn't a sermon. So I'm going to tell you a joke. A priest, a rabbi, a Southern Baptist minister, Leo Lambert, and a dog walk into an emergency, each with symptoms of the flu. One has a headache, one has a fever, one has a sore throat, one has a cough. All of them are achy all over, and they wait, and they finally get to see the emergency nurse, and she walks in and she says, "What is this? Some kind of sick joke?" That's it. Right there. That's all I got. Now that I have pandered to your affections, I want to take a minute to tell you about a word I discovered in Elon. Not so much discovered, as gained a deeper sense of meaning, and that word is companion. My sophomore year at Elon, I was in the first cohort of student interns for the then newly created Truett Center for Religious and Spiritual Life. And as part of that work, we read a book by a Jesuit priest named Henry Nouwen. It's called Reaching Out. If you're not familiar with Nouwen's work, you should know he dedicated a large part of his later life to working with the L'Arche communities, a movement committed to welcoming residents of varying mental developmental stages to live together, and a movement that centers largely on companionship. In this book, Nouwen writes of 3 movements in the spiritual life, one of which is the movement from loneliness to solitude. And the key to making that shift, he writes, the key to moving from loneliness to solitude is this: in everything, keep trusting that God is with you, that God has given you companions on the journey. There are a few moments in your life that you can point to and say unequivocally that your life changed, that something was different before that moment and something was different after that moment. And the moment I read that line, I was changed because I knew it to be true. Elon was the place where I first understood the deep and abiding importance of companionship. And that lesson has informed every decision I've made since leaving here. It was the belief that led me through the hard, untimely death of my mother. Don't worry, John, you've got companions on the journey. It was foundational in my decision to go on to seminary, to continue the search for companions. It was central to my decision to ask my partner, Greg, to marry me, to have a companion in this life, and to be a companion. And it's fundamental to my ministry, which boils down to this. My job is to be a companion to whoever walks through those doors, and to be a companion to everyone outside of them too. I was flying here earlier today from my denomination's national headquarters in Cleveland, and I was struck with a revelation. Yes, I'm a pastor, and I'm a teacher, I'm a prayer, and an organizer, and a fundraiser, and a planner. Before all of that, before all those details, I've been called to be this companion. And the truth is, so have all of you. In my tradition, we have a saying, God is still speaking. It's why I wear this comma on my lapel. It's not an apostrophe. I should really wear it down here, so it makes more sense. It's a comma. Because the second piece of that quote is, God is still speaking. Never place a period where God places a comma. Friends, I believe that. I believe that God is still speaking, and God is still calling us to be companions on the journey. I'm grateful to Elon for this award, and I'm honored. And I'm grateful to Elon and honored for the education that has taught me so much about the world and about life and about companionship. Y'all, I am a companion, a son, and a partner, and I'm a preacher. So I hope you'll indulge me and let me end with a blessing for my tradition. Go now with the grace to never sell yourself short, the grace to risk something big for something good, the grace to remember that this world is too dangerous for anything but truth and too small for anything but love. May God take your minds and think through them. May God take your lips and speak through them. May God take your hearts and set them on fire. And may God give you companions for this journey. Amen.